All right, we are live. Hi, Grace.
Hello.
This is Grace from London. She's a friend of mine I met last November when I did my active birth teacher training. And she was one of the mothers in the training. I was personally very much inspired by her story for her birth of her two children. And her journey and her birth stories inspired her to help and support other women in their motherhood journey as well. And that passion that she developed became a business of her own, and you can connect to her page. I'll link it below in the description. And she's been helping hundreds, not even thousands, of women globally. And I'm really glad I'm interviewing her here because I think she has a lot of knowledge and lots of experience. And I think it's fantastic how you took charge. After your first birth experience, you decided, I'm going to take charge for my second, and you made it happen. And you just did your homework and you did your research and you empowered yourself. So we're going to get into that. But first, I wanted for us to know you a little bit more. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about who was Grace before she decided to become a mother. What were you doing for a living? And if you reflect back at the younger non-mommy Grace, who was Grace, and how do you see her now looking back?
Thank you, Saba. And it's wonderful to be here. And hello, everyone. So my name is Grace. And so I am a mother of two right now, third on the girls. And before I had my first child, I was actually, like, my old career had nothing to do with birth, right? So I was a business consultant, so flying around the world and helping companies change their business performance. But the thing is, I didn't have a beautiful birth experience the first time. And when I got pregnant again, I just felt somehow there was a calling and I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to find out the answers to two questions. Number one is like, why it all happened to me? And then how I can make the second time a very different and significantly better experience. And then I just started to do some research and I realized, I was not only the unlucky one. So if we look at the stats, right, 30% of women, they have C-section when they deliver the baby, and 50% of women were using epidural. So I was like, okay, I cannot follow the crowd. If I follow the crowd, I will have this average results, right? Most women, they don't get to have beautiful birth experience. Then I started really to study the success. So I was fascinated about NLP, and it's about, success is replicable, right? I started to really look at those beautiful hypnobirthing stories and those women who were able to achieve a much, much less painful and more smooth and beautiful birth with calm and ease. We're not screaming, And I realized they did two things differently. And number one was they had very different mindset. So they consider birth to be something very different, beautiful expression of love,
Yeah.
But like in a society, we all think birth is painful, is long, is challenging, is difficult. But actually there's another side. Unfortunately, birth, like majority of people, women, are not able to experience that kind of birth. So I went on study. And secondly, they religiously prepare their mind and the body for a calm, smooth labor. So then I did that, started to create all sorts of things based on hypnobirthing and active birth to prepare my mind and body. And then my second birth completely blew me away. So it was like 3 hours long, water birth, no tear. My first time I had a 2nd-degree tear plus an episiotomy, and much less painful, and was totally unexpected. I didn't use any drugs at all. And I even had like orgasm. So, which was like totally mind-blowing, right? So I can tell you birth can be orgasmic, can be euphoric, can be ecstatic. And our female bodies are designed to do exactly that. And after I had the experience, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I was like, if I could do this, because, my old background had nothing to do with birth, right?
Yeah.
And I had such a low starting point. Like, if I could do this, right, like everyone can do it. We just need to know what is the right way and to prepare.
So tell us about your first birth, because like now I really want to know.
So I literally followed the crowd when I was preparing the birth. I had no idea, right, what birth was. I was like very busy working long hours as a business consultant. So I took antenatal course. and I took hypnobirthing course, and I can tell the mindset was very different compared to my second time. So I remember the first time I went to a hypnobirthing course, I was like, the teacher was showing me this beautiful hypnobirthing story. The woman didn't even make a sound, you know, the baby was just born. Like, how could this be possible? It's like too good to be true, right? I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because my mindset was at that level, and my birth experience reflected my mindset. And just like all the women, 99% of women I used to think giving birth was very painful. Like my mom told me, giving birth to you is like the most painful thing she had experienced in her entire life. So I had this kind of thought. As a result, my birth was just extremely, extremely painful. And I ended up using epidural, and my second stage was very long.
It was in the hospital?
Yeah, it was in a hospital. And then my, it's definitely an heavily intervened birth. So my second time was like, I was like minimizing all the intervention. So there was no intervention at all, right?
So when you say heavily intervened birth, can you tell us, like, did labor start, you were at home, and then you just took a taxi, you went to the hospital, or what happened? Like, what was your hypnobirthing course, like, helped you in the first birth? We're talking about the first birth.
First birth didn't help me at all. That's why what I'm saying. So the quality of the hypnobirthing courses in the market really, really vary, because to be honest, hypnobirthing is not that a easy topic. It's easy to teach the techniques, the tools, but the tools and techniques can only help you go so far. If you want to really nail birth and have a beautiful, beautiful birth experience, you have to fundamentally upgrade yourself, to upgrade the core. What do I mean by core? First of all, is the mindset. You have to believe birth is beautiful and your body can do it, and birth can be less painful, and actually all our female bodies are designed to release pain naturally. You have to upgrade yourself. When we are energetically aligned with the beautiful birth we want to have, the entire behavior, the way we prepare for birth will become different. So the first time I took the 2-day course, I didn't have so many aha moments or wake up moments at all. That's why. And the thing is, you don't know what you don't know. And when I was the first time, right, I thought I was stupid. You know, the teacher asked me to like listen to some like soothing music to prepare for birth. I was like listening to classic music and even listening to like church music, but it's not getting me anywhere. Then the second time I realized, you know, birth preparation need to be very tailored, very personalized, because, you know, we can all do birth affirmation, but different people, they have different ways. It's very important to find the way that works for you. So that's why when I'm training my students, I always say, you need to see rapid change. If you don't see, you feel better and you're getting better and better day by day, don't do this thing or change the way how you do it. So that's why it's so important to create a routine and a personalized routine to prepare for birth. Yes.
Okay. Wow, amazing. I believe in affirmation work a lot. Yeah, definitely. This so you had a heavily intervened birth, and then but the baby came out and you were healthy and fine, and then you did tear.
I was not very healthy, by the way. It took me 18 months to recover.
Can you tell us what happened? How was your postpartum?
Because my second stage was very long, so my pelvic floor was overstretched because I was using epidural and I didn't feel anything. And then there was incidents happening in the hospital, everything. So yeah, that's what I say. So natural birth is really God's blessing, and it does the least amount of harm to the body. It's actually, the pain is there to prevent harm. It's really reminding your job, your body to do efficient job.
I love
right?
that. Yeah, I believe in that.
Yeah, and also I had second degree tear plus an episiotomy. My first time, second time I had no tear because I was just, everything was so natural. And if you use medical intervention, it's almost unavoidable that there will be some cuts or some tear, stuff like that. Yeah, so my second time was like 1 week I got recovered. It was just like drastically different. That's why I'm so passionate about natural birth.
So what was the preparation that you did for your second birth? Like, you knew you kind of start finding out what you didn't know, and then you had new tools. What were they? Hypnobirthing, for example.
I think there are two important things I did. The first thing, as I said, was completely kind of upgrade my understanding of birth, and then have new belief system installed inside me, and really believing that I can do it. You know, the second time I really believed giving birth can be less painful. Giving birth can be smooth, and I don't need use any drugs at all.
And you accepted the idea of birth. It was like,
I proactively worked towards it. It's a lot of hard work, because I had a lot of mental blocks, because my old belief system, you know, giving birth was difficult, was painful. I'm not,
your mother's stories,
I'm really stupid, you know. So I started with really understanding the physiological side of birth. So once you understand how the body works, you're like, oh, actually my body can actually release pain, and my body can actually do it because it knows how to give birth. And then I developed a routine to work on my mind. So as I said, birth manifestation, birth affirmation. But I just started to do the things that really made me to feel the difference. Right. I also journaled, for example. I was trying to meditate, but to be honest, I really struggled to find a guided meditation that really resonated with me. Either the voice, the music, it didn't resonate with me. So I didn't use that at all. But I was able to get my mental state to a completely different level. The second part is really prepare the body. So that's how I get really fascinated about active birth. It's all about like how to move your body and how to improve this mind-body connection. So I created a whole routine to nurture my body. So every day I would spend 5 minutes time just nurture my body, telling myself my body is so beautiful, and really trusting my body. It's an honor ability in giving birth. And I created a whole series of birthing exercise, actually, because I was like, you know, I want to build the body memory of how to move in labor, what are the best birthing positions, but how do I build this muscle memory? You know, because you know, when we are in labor, we work on autopilot, so you kind of need to prepare yourself in advance. Then I based on Janet's active birth, right? Then I created a whole birthing exercise, and it's all based on optimal birthing positions and optimal birthing movements. Then I just started to practice every day, and then we just like, I really nailed labor. But to be honest, I still had fear inside me, and it's and I would say, like, for all the women, it's entirely normal if you still have fear. But fear doesn't stop you, right? You can embrace the fear and take action anyway if you are prepared. Right, when you go into labor, you just be on autopilot, and then the fear will just fade away. But if you don't prepare, the fear will create muscle tension, and then you will get into this alert or the panic state, which is really a very inefficient state to give birth. But unfortunately, most of women, when they're in labor, they're like, it's really painful, like my first time, right? What do I do? And they quickly get into this vicious cycle of fear, muscle tension, and then less efficient labor, and then more fear, more muscle tension, more pain, even less efficient labor. So that's something we definitely want to break through, right?
So did you have a doula on your second birth or in your first birth, or?
No. I like the first time, no. The second time, I literally trained my husband, and like using various active births, and we also used. So I learned like rebozo shifting, for example. So I trained him, and because I learned a lot of advanced stuff, how to, for example, release pain naturally, or because I was literally learning a lot. So I taught my husband a lot of these kind of techniques.
Amazing. You know, that's very empowering for husbands, because they feel left out. They don't know how to behave or how to help. So that's great.
So having this kind of knowledge, like, really, really helped. Otherwise, husbands just like, they had the intention to help, but they don't know. And I taught him some specific like techniques that he could use to help me relax and help me feel calm, and just, it's beautiful, and was very intimate. So I didn't even feel that I needed doula, because I was confident enough just to give birth myself.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, and I didn't want to have a third person who I'm not familiar, to be
You
honest.
know, you just know that if you need one or
Yeah,
you don't
I
need,
just
yeah.
no, I don't need a doula. Yeah.
And you birth at home.
Yeah, I gave birth at home.
The
My
whole
second.
process, you had your golden hour at home.
Yeah, everything was at home. Yeah,
Amazing. Did you
so it
have a
was
birth
very.
pool as well? You had your birth
Yeah, yeah,
pool.
yeah. So we prepared a pool so in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So when my labor came, because I knew it might be very quick, right? So once I felt the sensation, then my husband just started to set up the pool, and then the midwife came.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then I was just like, in my own zone, doing my own thing, and then went to the pool and then gave birth. That's it.
How long was the labor for the second time?
Including so the first stage and second stage all together is like 3 hours, less than 3 hours and a half. Then
Wow.
another half an hour or something, then the placenta was delivered, so everything was done.
That's
Was very
nothing.
efficient. Was
That's
like
very fast. Fantastic.
really, 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 really efficient.
And your
Yeah,
first birth, was it way longer?
it was like 20 hours or something, but right
Yeah.
now I recall it's even longer than 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of I was literally in the vicious cycle, fear, tension, pain the first time, but I had no tools. I didn't know how to break that cycle, right? And but the second time
it's amazing that the body just reacts to what you're thinking. So what you're thinking, your body just responding to it. So if you control what you're thinking, your body will respond as well.
Exactly. So birth is a direct manifestation of the beliefs and the thoughts, and where the mind goes, the body follows. So that's like a key concept of hypnobirthing. Yes. So yeah, I think I'm very, very grateful to have this kind of second experience. So it's just like
it's
it's unbelievable. I feel like
a healing process.
Definitely a healing, and I feel like it's a newborn. I feel like a newborn. I've like my student asked me, Grace, so you said giving birth is not very painful, so what do you replace pain with? I said when I was giving birth, I felt I went to see God. I received so much love. That's literally how I felt, because your birthing hormones, right, when you are having so much endorphins inside you, you know what, it feels very high. It's like you've had drugs, right? I feel I went to see God in a heaven, and he gave me so much love, and then I came back. And I couldn't just express how much love I've had. That's why they say beautiful birth, it's not a physical event anymore. It's spiritual.
Yeah, it is spiritual.
Emotional and spiritual.
And how amazing that the moment that you were born after that birth, that's right of that's your right. That's the sense of achievement that you continue living with everything. It shows on your face, instead of feeling defeated and disempowered, and you felt like you don't know what was happening.
Exactly. I felt completely new mission. So the second day I was like holding the baby, breastfeeding him. I was like, I need to start teaching women how to do this, completely changed my trajectory. So it really gave me new meaning. And you see the power of birth. And Janet said, right, like when a baby is born, a mom is born, like it's like I feel like I was like reborn.
Yeah. Amazing. That's amazing. Did you breastfeed both of them?
Yes. So they were both exclusively breastfed, and they never touched bottle or powder. So I was very proud. It was not easy, but I made it, and so they
it's
just
very rewarding. It's
cow's
very
milk
rewarding.
directly after 15 months, and they just switched to cow's milk and using a cup. So it was very, very nice and easy. So I think it's really, really wonderful. And natural birth is also so good because you don't feel any discomfort in your body, and just can really bond with the baby, enjoy this early moment and breastfeed. It's beautiful.
Wow. So can you tell us about your postpartum recovery second time compared, because in your first time you said you didn't heal very quickly and it took you months, but in the second time you were in a week. So can you tell us a bit more in details? Because if you can just talk a bit about your muscle separation and all of that, because you're naturally flexible as well, and that's sometimes women don't know that about themselves. So can you tell us about that?
Yes. So in terms of like diastasis recti, which is abdominal muscle separation, actually it's affecting. There is some research like 60% of women in their first year postnatal, they have this kind of problem, and it's normal. Usually it heals, but oftentimes it doesn't heal. And if it doesn't heal, usually you will have a protruding tummy, right? Or what we call mummy tummy. So I didn't know this until I delivered the first baby. 6 months later, I was like, why my tummy is not going back? Then I started to go to see a private physio, and I realized like had a like big gap, very big gap. So I had to really study how to do it, and I second time was very, very careful. So I even get certified as a pregnancy fitness coach. So can you imagine that? Because I was just like really, really wanted to heal myself.
Amazing. And I'll do it myself. I'll learn it and do it myself. Love this attitude.
Yes. I literally, because I can't find an organization or a course that can really help me like holistically heal myself. And it's healing, again, a lot of mental, because mind body connection. And then I had like a, like this routine to really you know do some gentle work on the tummy, and I created a whole exercise series to strengthen the core and strengthen the pelvic floor without overstretching. And then lots of kind of people, like, they are very active when they're pregnant, and that tend to increase the chance of a tummy gap. For example, if you're like stretching your upper body too much, it may create some problem. And I used to like be so passionate about swimming, but then I realized when the tummy is really back and then you are facing this down all the time, the gravity is gradually stretching the linea alba, which is the connective tissue connecting the abdominal muscles.
Opens up.
And my body, maybe it's Asia genes or something, just very, very flexible. And once they get extended, they kind of can come back, but it becomes quite difficult. So I think in time we just started to be very aware and doing all the core muscle strengthening exercise and pelvic floor strengthening exercise. That's why, like, the second time I was like posting the belly pictures, like day 4 versus day 7. I was like measuring every day as well. You can see how it has gone back in just literally 7 days. Yes, and because in a pregnancy, I would say, like, to prevent problems like leaking problem or diastasis recti, the work needs to be done before you deliver the baby, not after. Because like it's accumulative. If you can prevent it, it's even better. It's always harder to heal afterwards, right?
I really love that you've took charge, because it's so easy to go to the doctor and doctor will tell you, oh, okay, just go take this or do this class or do this session, and then you go back home and you do nothing, and you think that session until the next session. That's a very common attitude. The same thing when you get sick and you go to the doctor and you take a pill and you wait for that pill to heal you, but then you can go change your diet or your lifestyle and you can get better. So I completely find this fascinating that you took charge and you learned it yourself and then you healed yourself. That's so good. That's like really, I'm very impressed with that.
You are so right. When I was like having this mommy tummy, I went to see my GP. It's like how to say, like the public health system, right? You see him for free, and he's like, "Is it normal to have a mommy tummy? You've just had a baby. What are you thinking about? Go back home." And then I just, like, I was really bothered. I was like, this doctor is not giving me any advice. So I went to see a private physio, and the private physio, she's like, maybe after you finish family planning, you can consider having a surgery. I was like, so freaked out.
They send you to those, like, they think everybody wants a quick fix, but then
I was like, no, I don't believe in it, right? So I'm like, I have to heal myself. So it's because it's sometimes your health is really in your control, and you can't really just simply rely on doctors. Because you know yourself better, and you can do better. So
that's a very important message for all women and men, to take control of your like, it's really. And once you, like, I think birth starts way earlier from the way you take charge of your body. So the way that you live your life, you're going to end up birthing. If you're always if you always give up your body to somebody else to fix or heal, you can also give out your birth story to somebody else to do it for you. But if you've gained that,
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of women, even when they're in labor, you know, they gave themselves to
yeah.
doctor too early. That's why their birthing experience so intervened.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
even
doctor,
it's okay, like whatever kind of birth you can end up having. But if she feels that she was participating in that event and she gave her, you know, she was asked permission to do certain things, and then she's gonna still have this beautiful experience where she felt she was the center of the event. That's for her future, for her motherhood journey. I think it's very essential.
right. Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've covered a lot, and maybe you want to touch up on a little bit more about breastfeeding, because I think it's fascinating you breastfed both of them, and maybe you can tell us for how long. And of course, breastfeeding is natural, but also it has its own challenges. How did you overcome that sometimes, and were you close sometimes to giving up? And what are the tools maybe that helped you during breastfeeding?
So my key principle of breastfeeding is really this: you want to breastfeed as much as you can, direct breastfeeding, not expressing or something, because expressing milk will challenge the demand and supply equilibrium.
Yeah.
So I almost never use a bottle or something. I only use it occasionally because I have to leave the baby. So I think the biggest challenge is you have to be there physically to feed the baby, breastfeed the baby, right? And another thing is, like, in the first couple of weeks, you have to wake up a lot at night, like every 2 hours, every 3 hours, you need to wake up and then feed the baby, right?
Yeah, so lack of sleep. Yeah,
it's a lack of sleep, but like I think it's important to really have help. So for example, I was having my mom helping out, like with the cooking and housework, so I can really spend more time with the baby. I think that's really, really important. If I had to do all the cooking and housework and breastfeeding, I don't think I would be able to do it. Yeah, that's just too much, right?
So getting support if you want to breastfeed,
it's really, really, really essential. I think I didn't have a moment that I wanted to give up. Even the toughest time was like the baby was waking up a lot and I had to put him back to sleep and things like that. But I think my intention was strong enough. My intention was that I wanted to breastfeed the children, and it's also easy for me because I've kind of gone from the habit. I was like, making milk, it's, you know, using powder and you have to sanitize the bottles, etc.
It's clean.
Cleaning afterwards, it's also tons of work, right? So I was just like, it's easier for me. And another thing I think a lot of women have that is like, they don't believe they can breastfeed the baby. It's our mindset. So I remember a few years back, I read a book. It's about mindful breastfeeding. First of all, is you believe you have enough, you can produce enough milk. So I came across a lady, and she said, you know, like on day one, she was still trying to learn how to breastfeed the baby, and then the daddy, like at night or something, gave the baby a bottle, and she just saw the baby just drank all the milk there. And she had a thought. She said, I could never produce so much milk myself. And then she just ended up giving up because of all the thought inside herself. Yeah, but I think the mindset I had was like, I just need to keep letting the babies, like, you know, get latched on me and suck my nipples, and then I will be able to like feed him. That's just like Mother Nature, you know how to do it. So that's a very different mindset. So
were you making sure to have enough nutrition, of course, like maybe like enough liquids and eating all the time? Not all the time, but when you're hungry.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say like you have to be like any different than before, just eating healthy food. I prefer not to eat too much because like I easily gain weight because the hormone change. And it's again mindset thing. So you are again thinking, oh, I have to eat a lot in order to produce milk. But if you eat a balanced diet, you can produce enough milk. So, and it's scientifically proved, you don't have to eat like differently, or you just eat when you're hungry, and don't eat a lot of cakes or sugar stuff, but eat healthy, balanced diet. That's really the key.
That's a really great advice.
Uh-huh. And
Did
another thing,
yeah.
again, don't think like breastfeeding is like so much of a big deal, because it's like birth. So we are all designed to do it.
Mm.
So all you need to do is just to do it and tell yourself you can do it, and then just do it. Sometimes some days might be tough, but some days might be easy. I remembered I had like 1 or 2 nights, very strange. The baby was just like, you know, crying nonstop after I breastfeed the baby. And I was like, I had some moment, it was like, was I not having enough milk, or was it?
Mm.
And but I was like, okay, let me just carry on. I can't do anything else, right? Let me just carry on. And the baby cried and then fell asleep. I still don't know why the baby cried.
Mm.
But then after 2 days, he just got resettled, you know?
Mm.
So even with the challenges, just, it's not a big deal. Just continue with the plan. And then, yeah, things will be fine.
I mean, I think the most challenging part for new moms, I talk about my experience, that you don't know what the baby is going through. So your self-doubts get magnified. What am I doing wrong? Do I have enough milk? Did I, help him better? What do I do next? And that's when the support comes in, and the mother, she needs to be assured instead of being questioned.
Yeah. But I think, so if the baby is hungry, continuously crying or not settled after breastfeeding, like after a few days or weeks, then that might be a problem. Sometimes I think that it's intervention coming too early. So you're just to start breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is not even established. You're like, let me give him a bottle. So
Yeah.
that kind of disrupt, the
Yeah.
natural breastfeeding cycle.
You just have to continue. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to continue, and you have to let the baby just drink from you, directly from you,
Yeah.
a bit more, right?
Yeah.
Don't interfere. Like all Mother Nature is just so beautifully designed. Don't interfere too early and too quickly. It's just
Yeah.
like birth.
Yeah. I agree. It's the same process as birth, like you said. You just So Grace, did you have any, maybe that's a, like, feel free to answer, but did you have any kind of hormonal imbalances? Did you get the blues? Did you get through that process of recovering? Did you have any of that? I know like using the term postpartum depression is so common, but the mother goes through all of these changes and they're sudden, right? So did you have any
Tons,
of that?
tons,
Tons,
a
yeah.
lot of.
Yeah.
Especially after I've had my second one, just life become very busy with 2 children, and my second one was the like very, very bad sleeper. So some nights I had to literally hold him all night long, and I was like sleep deprived, and my husband was very busy working, and I have 2 children. It was like really literally drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I cried.
But you kept going, and you're a
and
businesswoman, and you're doing all of this. It's amazing, the power.
no, that time I had to pause my business. I had to pause. So I was like totally overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had many low moments as well. So I remember sometimes I was like pushing the pram out for a walk. I was literally crying, and I was thinking in my mind, do I have postnatal depression? So I was like very close to the edge. I was literally thinking about these questions, but then I try to talk to myself in a different way, because I know how the brain works. So the brain is there to serve us. It's our most obedient servant. You can't let your brain to rule over you. You have to control your brain. You have to literally tell your brain how to think. And I remembered when the toughest day, I couldn't get any sleep at night. You know how sleepy I was and how tough it was. And also like my family members don't really understand why like I was doing this. And they thought it's because like I spoiled the baby, like breastfeed him so much, so he didn't sleep well. So they had like all the blame on me. And I was like, I was the only one doing the hard work, but I was like, let me enjoy this intimate moment with my baby. So I remember it was like all night long, I couldn't sleep. And I was like trying to tell myself this intimate moment won't last for many days or weeks. So let me enjoy the time before he can really sleep very nicely. So, you see, I was trying to tell myself a different story to really get myself going. So
that's so true. When you
tough.
tell that story over and over, I didn't sleep, I don't know, then you're just like as a vicious circle. But the minute you switch, that story, you'll relax.
Yes, but it's very hard. It's very hard to do that.
Yeah.
And but you know, we just have to go through these times. And right now I'm pregnant, right, with my number 3. I still have these kind of hormone changes right now, and my mood swings, really swings. So just have to like realize it's entirely normal because of a hormonal change, and kind of take control. So if I feel like bad or unhappy, maybe go for a walk or something, and do some positive affirmation, listen to guided meditation. Yes, do all these things to help, and think about all the beautiful things you've already had. Like show gratitude. I know it's hard, but we have to train our brain. Little by little.
That's amazing. That's thank you so much for sharing this. It
You're
makes such a
welcome.
huge difference to know that other women go through the same, because it gets so lonely, and the woman so easily goes on a guilt trip, right? Especially if she's not aware or she's not equipped. So it's so important to hear this from other women, so frankly and with transparency.
Yeah, we all go through this. So and also I would say just love and accept yourself unconditionally. Don't blame on yourself, because the situation oftentimes is tough enough. And I think as a society we don't emphasize enough about how important support is, especially in Western society. They expect moms to just be on their own, you know, and look after 3 children, 4 children. That's not right. You need to have support. So because it's more than a full day job, it's like more than two full day jobs, right? So you need to realize you are already doing a lot. So, and love and accept yourself. Don't blame that you're not doing enough. You're doing more than enough, right? I think every mom is doing more than enough. So we need to be proud of ourselves.
There's no right or wrong. You're doing your best, and it's continuous. So definitely there'll be some times they're not good and sometimes they're good, but the good is also really good, you know. So
right, definitely. Exactly. It's all improving. Motherhood is a journey of self-improvement.
You said some really amazing advices and things for mothers, but I still want to ask the question: any specific advice for new mothers, for mothers generally, that you feel, especially at these times where we are right now? The world has changed probably from the time we had our babies. What would you tell them?
So this is advice not only to the mothers but also to myself. I would say learn to prioritize your own needs, and learn to prioritize me time. And it's so hard to find time, and especially once you have like multiple children, like for yourself. Mothers always tend to prioritize the family members' need above their own needs, but this is not right. So try to maybe have 1 hour break a week or something, just like, you know, totally set yourself free, do whatever you want to do, and have this kind of me time. Because you need to be happy, and you need to be in kind of good mood, a good health, so that you can look after your family members and don't feel guilty by doing that.
It's not selfish.
No, it's not selfish. It's like a must. It's like
I agree with that 100%.
Doing enough. So yes, so I need to also prioritize my own needs as well.
Well, Grace, it was so lovely chatting with you, and congratulations on your 3rd pregnancy. I can't wait to hear your birth story for the 3rd time.
Thank you.
Do you know the sex of the baby or not yet?
Boy. So I have 3 boys.
3 boys, full on energy in the house.
Oh my God. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much, Grace, for your time.
Thank you, Sabah.
Thank you. We'll keep in touch. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye-bye.